Chosen one. They're begging God not to die. Right now, in this very moment, somewhere between gasping breath and trembling terror, their voices crack with desperation as they plead for more time. But cosmic law has already written their fate, in blood and consequence. The only way out for them is death itself, because they were too damn stubborn, too arrogant, too spiritually bankrupt to change when change was possible. What they did to you, the violations, the calculated destruction, the way they poisoned your sacred spaces with their malice, unforgivable. And death, the very thing they fear most, has become their only door out of the spiritual prison they built with their own hands. Their prayers reek of desperation. Their pleas echo through dimensions that no longer recognize their voice as worthy of attention. Time has run out for transformation, and now they face the brutal mathematics of cosmic consequence, where every cruelty returns multiplied. Listen to the pathetic cacophony rising from their souls. These aren't prayers. They're spiritual hostage negotiations with a universe that doesn't negotiate. Every word reveals the fundamental corruption at their core, the way they view even death as something to be manipulated rather than faced with dignity. The difference between genuine repentance and fear-driven begging becomes crystal clear when death starts knocking. Real repentance seeks to repair the damage done. Fear-driven pleas seek to avoid the consequences entirely. They want mercy without accountability, forgiveness without restitution, salvation without transformation. When people who've committed unforgivable acts finally face the edge of existence, their prayers become desperate attempts to negotiate with laws that were written before the first star was born. They're trying to trade future promises for escape from present judgment, as if God operates on the same corrupt system they've always manipulated. The spiritual bankruptcy reveals itself in every desperate "Lord, please," and "God, if you'll just." They're not confessing their sins against you, they're listing their fears. They're not acknowledging the sacred trust they violated. They're pleading for an extension on their spiritual debt. The hollow ring of empty promises echoes through dimensions that have heard these same lies 1,000,000 times before. God hears everything. He heard their cruelty to you. He witnessed every calculated moment of malice. He saw how they chose evil over good, again and again and again. Their current begging doesn't erase the cosmic record of their crimes. It only adds desperation to the list of their spiritual failings. The universe has been taking notes every time they opened their mouth to hurt you, every time they used their voice as a weapon against innocence. Those same vocal cords that spewed venom now plead for mercy they never extended to others. Their prayers reveal they still believe in the same twisted logic that governed their cruelty, that power should protect them from consequences, that their desires should override others' rights, that somehow their fear now should matter more than your pain then. The silence responding to their begging speaks volumes. Divine justice doesn't engage in desperate negotiations with spiritual criminals. Cosmic law doesn't bend for those who spent lifetimes bending others to their will. The void between their pleas and heaven's response grows wider with each desperate word. Every prayer that goes unanswered confirms what you've always known. The universe operates on principles that protect the innocent and ensure the guilty face their reckoning. Their spiritual bankruptcy has finally matured into spiritual foreclosure, and no amount of begging can stop that process. The cosmic record shows thousands of opportunities for redemption scattered across their timeline like breadcrumbs leading away from the abyss. Each chance ignored, each warning dismissed, each moment of grace treated like an inconvenience that interrupted their march toward your destruction. Every mentor they dismissed because they thought they knew better. Every wake-up call they interpreted as coincidence. Every moment of grace they treated like an interruption. Every friend who tried to pull them back from the edge before they crossed the line with you. They burned every single bridge to genuine change. The signs weren't subtle. Dreams that felt too real to ignore arrived nightly, showing them exactly where their path led. People appeared in their life speaking exactly the words they needed to hear. Circumstances aligned to force them to confront their trajectory toward evil. The universe practically erected neon signs pointing toward transformation. Pride became their spiritual death sentence. Pride whispers that rules apply to everyone except them. Pride suggests that consequences are for the weak. Pride insists that power means immunity from cosmic law. Their pride built walls so thick that wisdom couldn't penetrate, humility couldn't enter, and transformation became impossible. After they first wronged you, chances for redemption multiplied. Opportunities to make amends presented themselves daily. Moments when genuine remorse could have changed everything. The universe offered pathway after pathway back to the light, but instead of humility, they chose hubris. Instead of growth, they chose stagnation. Instead of seeking forgiveness, they convinced themselves they deserved immunity. Every crossroads became a choice between transformation and deeper destruction. At every single crossroads, they chose the path leading to this moment, broken, terrified, begging a God they rejected when redemption was possible. The reluctance to change crystallized around their hearts like spiritual concrete. What started as resistance became impossibility. What began as stubborn pride became spiritual paralysis. Each rejected chance made the next change harder. Each dismissed opportunity increased the spiritual inertia, carrying them toward destruction. Time itself became their enemy, as each wasted moment added weight to the scales of judgment. The universe keeps perfect time, and their time for transformation expired long before their time for consequences began. Their current begging represents the final confirmation that some chances don't come twice, some doors don't reopen, and some souls pass the point where change becomes possible. The mentors who tried to save them now watch from beyond, their hands clean of the blood about to be spilled. The warnings they ignored echo through eternity as proof that their destruction was chosen, not imposed. The chances they rejected stand as monuments to free will exercised in service of evil. And now, let us take a brief moment to honor the chosen among us. Here's to the ones who see the world differently. The silent guardians, the watchful souls, always awake, always vigilant. They don't fit the mold, and they wouldn't have it any other way. While others walk familiar paths, they forge their own, fighting unseen battles, illuminating the shadows. It's not for everyone, and that's okay. But if you feel it deep within, you'll know this is meant for you. No masks, no pretense, just truth. The Obsidian Inner Order is here, a place where kindred spirits gather to share wisdom, to connect, to transform. Over 450. Strong, united not by conformity but by purpose. If you're ready, you know where to find us. The link is in the description. If not, that's perfectly fine, because we're always here, watching over, making a difference in ways unseen. Here's to those who walk their own path, not for recognition, but because it's who they are. Here's to you. Thank you. They didn't just hurt you. Hurt is accidental. Pain happens by mistake. What they did was systematic spiritual vandalism, the deliberate destruction of trust, dignity, and innocence. They identified what made you most vulnerable and weaponized that vulnerability against you. The calculated nature of their cruelty sets it apart from ordinary human failings. This wasn't a moment of weakness or an error in judgment. This was planned predation. They saw your light, your trust, your sacred spaces, and they chose to desecrate them with the precision of someone who knew exactly what they were destroying. They crossed lines that exist for the protection of the human soul. Some boundaries aren't just social contracts, they're spiritual laws. When someone violates these sacred boundaries, they create wounds that transcend ordinary concepts of forgiveness and punishment. What makes their acts unforgivable wasn't just the pain they caused. It was how they transformed the very foundations of your ability to trust. They took something pure and innocent within you and left it scarred in ways that changed how you move through the world. They stole more than your peace of mind. They attempted to steal your capacity for future connection, but here's what they underestimated. They thought damaging you would diminish the cosmic response to their evil. They couldn't comprehend that your significance in the spiritual realm would actually amplify the consequences of their actions. The greater the light they tried to extinguish, the brighter the justice that would eventually consume them. Every violation created spiritual debt. Every moment of calculated cruelty added weight to the scales of cosmic judgment. Every time they chose evil over good in their treatment of you, they were essentially writing their own spiritual death. Sentence one cruel choice at a time. The silence echoing back from heaven carries more power than any spoken word. When eternal justice finally responds, it doesn't negotiate, doesn't bargain, doesn't compromise. It simply is. Immutable, absolute, final. Divine love operates on frequencies they never learned to hear. God's compassion includes protection for the innocent, justice for the wronged, and yes, natural consequences for the guilty. When they scream for mercy, they're asking for something that would betray everyone they've ever victimized. The response they receive, or rather, don't receive, reveals something profound about cosmic order. True compassion doesn't override natural law. Real mercy doesn't immunize evil from accountability. Genuine love includes the strength to say no when that no serves the greater good. They're begging God to override the very laws that protect people like you from people like them. They want divine intervention that would essentially announce to all creation, evil can act without consequences. If it just begs hard enough at the end, the universe would become a playground for predators if such precedent were set. God heard your cries when they were torturing you. He witnessed every violation, catalogued every cruelty, felt every way they diminished your spirit. Their current begging doesn't erase that record. It completes it. The same voices that mocked your pain now plead for the mercy they denied you. The mathematics of divine justice don't include loopholes for last-minute desperation. The scales that measure cosmic balance don't adjust for fear. The laws that govern spiritual consequence don't suspend themselves for convenience. Their silence from heaven confirms what you've always known deep in your core, that good doesn't just exist in the universe, it governs the universe. That evil doesn't get the final word in anyone's story. That cosmic justice may be patient, but it is absolutely certain. Every unanswered prayer proves that God's love for you was stronger than his susceptibility to their manipulation. Every moment of divine silence affirms that your suffering mattered more than their comfort. Every echo of their pleas returning empty reinforces that cosmic order cannot be corrupted by spiritual criminals. The absence of divine rescue for them becomes the presence of divine justice for you. Their unanswered begging becomes answered prayer for everyone who ever suffered at their hands. God's apparent cruelty toward them reveals his true compassion for those they tormented. By the time the truly evil reach their final moments, they've become prisoners of their own spiritual architecture. Their character has hardened into something that change cannot penetrate. You have to understand, transformation requires humility, and humility requires the ability to admit fundamental wrongs. But after years of justifying cruelty, explaining away evil and rationalizing the unforgivable, their capacity for genuine humility has atrophied beyond repair. They've created a spiritual exoskeleton of pride, justification, and entitlement that no longer allows true remorse to reach their core. Even faced with death, they can generate fear, but not genuine contrition. They can experience panic, but not authentic repentance. The choices they made regarding you weren't isolated incidents. They were expressions of a character that had already chosen to value their desire over others' dignity. Each cruel choice made the next one easier. Each violation normalized the next violation. Each time they chose evil over good, they reinforced neural and spiritual pathways that eventually became their only way of being. This spiritual rigor mortis doesn't happen overnight. It's the accumulated result of thousands of small choices to prioritize self over soul, power over principle, immediate gratification over eternal consequence. By the time they face their final hour, attempting change would be like asking concrete to become clay again. Their core identity has become so intertwined with patterns of destruction that genuine transformation would require them to become completely different people. And that level of change, that level of fundamental spiritual reconstruction, that's beyond their capacity now. They're trapped not by God, not by you, not by cosmic punishment, but by the prison they built with their own choices, choice by choice, violation by violation, until the walls became too thick to break through from the inside. The metaphysics of spiritual evolution demand constant choice toward growth, toward light, toward good. But they chose the opposite at every critical juncture. They chose stagnation. They chose spiritual death while still breathing. Every soul reaches crossroads where evolution demands shedding old patterns, embracing humility, choosing growth over comfort. But their pride interpreted these crossroads as attacks on their identity, rather than invitations to transcend their limitations. The universe kept offering them chances to evolve past the parts of themselves that eventually hurt you. But instead of growth, they chose to calcify around their worst impulses. Instead of transformation, they embraced spiritual necrosis. Instead of evolution, they chose to rot from within while maintaining an external facade of humanity. When souls refuse to evolve, they don't just stay the same, they actually devolve. They become less than what they were, less than what they could have been, less than what the universe intended when it sparked their consciousness. Their refusal to change hardened their spiritual arteries until no goodness could flow through them. What started as resistance to growth became absolute inability to receive or transmit any form of genuine love, empathy, or connection. The point of no return exists in spiritual law just as surely as it exists in physics. Cross certain thresholds of evil, refuse evolution at certain critical moments, and the universe itself crystallizes around your choices. Free will becomes a prison when it's used exclusively to choose imprisonment. And that's exactly where they find themselves now, in a spiritual prison of their own making, begging for a freedom they can no longer even comprehend, much less achieve. Every violation they committed against you generated spiritual energy that had to go somewhere. Every cruelty created waves in the cosmic fabric. Every moment of calculated evil set forces in motion that could not be stopped, only redirected. The universe operates on principles more absolute than human law. What you put out into the cosmic web returns to you multiplied, refined, perfected. They sent out destruction, so destruction returns to consume them. They broadcast cruelty, so cruelty echoes back amplified. They transmitted violation, so violation revisits them with compound interest. This isn't revenge. This isn't even punishment in the human sense. This is the mathematical precision of cosmic law expressing itself. They created specific energies through their treatment of you, and those energies have been gathering, intensifying, organizing themselves into the exact experience they're having right now. Every tear they caused you to shed added water to the rising tide of their consequences. Every night they stole your peace contributed to the insomnia of their current terror. Every moment they made you question your worth feeds the doubt they now feel about their own existence. The cosmic ledger doesn't deal in human currency, it deals in energetic truth. They invested heavily in spiritual destruction, and now they're experiencing the maturation of that investment. The suffering they distributed has returned home to its source, carrying the accumulated interest of every life it touched along the way. What they're experiencing right now isn't arbitrary punishment. It's the universe balancing its books with the precision of a cosmic accountant. Every moment of their current terror corresponds exactly to moments of terror they generated for you. Every plea ignored mirrors pleas they ignored from you. Every fear they feel reflects fears they projected onto you. The scale doesn't lie. The universe doesn't forget, and what goes out must come back, without exception, without mercy, without negotiation. The suffering they inflicted on you wasn't just personal pain, it was cosmic documentation. Every wound became evidence, every violation created testimony, every moment of your agony left fingerprints on the spiritual record that could never be erased or denied. Your experience mattered in ways that transcend human understanding. The universe was taking notes every time they hurt you. Cosmic law was building a case with every cruelty they inflicted. Divine justice was cataloging every violation with the meticulous care of an infinite memory. The very fact that you survived what they put you through became prophetic of their eventual reckoning. Your endurance proved that something stronger than their evil existed. Your survival demonstrated that their power over you was temporary, illusory, ultimately meaningless against the deeper currents of cosmic justice. They thought your pain was collateral damage in their spiritual crime spree. They couldn't comprehend that your significance in the spiritual realm would amplify every consequence of their actions against you. They hurt someone the universe cherished, and every moment of that hurt was recorded in realms where records cannot be destroyed. Your experience serves as Exhibit A in the cosmic court, now convened over their fate. Every tear, every moment of terror, every sleepless night they caused you, all of it stands as irrefutable evidence of exactly why their begging will go unanswered. The universe validated your experience by making their current suffering a perfect mirror of what they made you endure. Your pain wasn't meaningless, it was the very measurement by which their consequences would be calibrated. In cosmic terms, they didn't just hurt you, they hurt someone the universe itself recognizes as significant, and the universe has a way of settling accounts that transcends every human court, every earthly authority, every temporal limitation. Their death, when it comes, will finally close a chapter that has been written in your blood, your tears, your stolen peace. The sound of their final breath will be the sound of cosmic justice completing its work. You can feel peace knowing that the universe operates on principles that ensure ultimate accountability. The sleepless nights, the violated trust, the damaged ability to connect, all of it has been acknowledged, witnessed, and answered by forces far greater than human systems of justice. Their death doesn't erase what they did to you, but it confirms that the universe refuses to let such violations go unanswered indefinitely. Evil gets its season, but justice gets the final word. Cruelty may flourish temporarily, but cosmic law is eternal. The spiritual relief that comes when your oppressors finally face ultimate accountability isn't revenge, it's restoration. It's the universe finally balancing scales that human hands couldn't level. It's cosmic order asserting itself after a period of apparent chaos. You no longer need to wonder if what they did to you mattered to the universe. Their current terror is your answer. You no longer need to question whether cosmic justice exists. Their desperate begging is your proof. You no longer need to doubt that good triumphs over evil in the end. Their approaching death is your validation. Moving forward from this resolution, you carry the knowledge that survives cosmic testing. You lived through hell and watched the universe respond. You endured the unendurable and witnessed justice served on a scale that dwarfs every human court. The universe has spoken. Justice has been served. And you, having survived what should have destroyed you, now stand as living proof that no matter how dark the night, how powerful the evil, how complete the violation, cosmic order will always reassert itself. In the end, their begging changes nothing. Their fear means nothing. Their death means everything. The scales have balanced. The books are closed. Justice is complete. And you, the survivor, the witness, the one they thought they could destroy, you remain standing while they fall. Welcome to the other side of justice. Welcome to the proof that good does triumph. Welcome to resolution.